call to order the meeting of the Health and Human Services Committee. Please call the roll.
Okay, Acting Chair Swarzy.
Here.
Member Chaplin. Member Childress.
Here.
Member Dessert. Member Evans. Here. Member LaPlante. Here.
Okay, do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, with regards to chair remarks, acting chair remarks today, I just want to welcome our new, at least interim members for the moment, and that is Michael Childress, welcome. Thank you. And Lucy Chang Evans, welcome. And I'm going to introduce a member who's just visiting with us today, Ina Yu. So thank you very much for being here. I need a motion for approval of the minutes, please.
So moved.
Second. Motion from member LaPlante, second by member Childress. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. On to item 6. I need a motion to approve item FIR 6-23 resolution acceptance and appropriation of the Giving DuPage staffing grant fiscal year 23 in the amount of $20,000.
Second.
Okay, motion by member Childress, second by member Evans. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion and a second to approve item HSR 7-23, authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between PACE Suburban Bus and DuPage County Community Services for the paratransit service in the amount of $930,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member LaPlante, second by member Childress. I was going to have our executive director talk about this because we have 3 separate resolutions and intergovernmental agreements between us and PACE, and so she was just going to give an explanation.
All right, thank you. So all 3 of these contracts are for services being provided under the Ride DuPage umbrella. So Ride DuPage is a paratransit service, demand responsive service that's operated by PACE on behalf of about 16 or 18 different sponsoring entities. So the county itself sponsors 3 separate services under Ride DuPage. The first you'll see is for the largest amount, that $930,000. That goes towards 2 things. We provide service for individuals, low-income individuals, to get to medical appointments or appointments here in the county. We also sponsor something called the Transportation to Work program. Individuals working with organizations like Ray Graham or Parents Alliance who have developmental disabilities, we provide transportation for them back and forth to work. That $930,000, you'll see about $730,000 of that is county general fund. Another $200,000 comes from a grant from the RTA. The other 2 ones for veterans. The Veterans Assistance Commission sponsors transportation for veterans who live in DuPage and need to get to Hines in Maywood. I think they also take them to a veteran center in Aurora, if I'm not mistaken. And then the third one is specifically a senior transportation grant. Those are funds that we get from the Area Agency on Aging for seniors who need kind of a one-time or just a few trips. Sometimes it's to visit a spouse who's in the hospital short term. It could be for a medical appointment. It could be really for any purpose, but that's managed through our senior services division. So so that's sort of the background. So if you hear about Ride DuPage, Ride DuPage also has municipal sponsors like Naperville and Glen Ellen, some of the townships. So you'll hear people talk about Ride DuPage, but what it really is a platform that allows any organization to sponsor transportation on behalf of any constituency that they choose to sponsor.
Now, does the veterans have to show any credentials or anything to say?
Sure. Yeah, the VAC, anytime they're working with a veteran, they have certain criteria. I think it's anything other than a dishonorable discharge. You can access services through the Veterans Assistance Commission. It's a separate entity from our department. They're actually located down in the cafeteria. But yeah, they have specific criteria of who they work with, what kind of services they provide.
Okay, but forgive my ignorance. I'm just asking if they have to show anything, or is it just the word? We just take their word for it. They call, which I don't have a problem with. But
in order to access any kind of services through the Veterans Assistance Commission, they do have to have some sort of paperwork that demonstrates that they're a veteran. Once they are registered, then if you're asking if when they get on the vehicle, do they have to show anything? No.
Okay, but they just registered.
They have to be registered with the VAC in order to have that trip arranged for them.
Now, is that the same for the seniors too? They have to register?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Member Childress. Any other questions? Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mary. Appreciate that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion and a second to approve item HSR 4-23, resolution authorizing execution of intergovernmental agreement between PACE Suburban Bus Service in DuPage County for paratransit service to veterans in the amount of $45,561.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And I need a motion and a second to approve item HSR 5-23, resolution authorizing execution of intergovernmental agreement between PACE Suburban Bus and DuPage County Community Services for the Senior Transportation Grant Program in the amount of $115,000. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item HSP 7-23, a recommendation for a contract purchase order issued to Optimum Management Resources to provide technical assistance and consultation services to the DuPage County Homeless Continuum of Care. This contract covers the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 for community services for a contract total amount not to exceed $32,000.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, just kind of give me an overview of background of that particular.
Sure. So any community that wants to receive funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for homeless or homeless prevention services has to form something called a Continuum of Care. And what that is it's a community organization that identifies needs in the community and then prioritizes what the highest level of need are. The DuPage County Homeless Continuum of Care has, I don't know, 50 or 55 different agencies that participate. Our department serves as the lead organization for the Homeless Continuum of Care. One of the most significant activities that the Continuum undertakes is the compilation of a community-wide application to HUD. What it says is, here's the projects we're recommending. HUD gives us basically an amount that we can apply for each year. It's basically the renewal of all our existing grants, and then there's usually, they call it a bonus project or a bonus pool. So the Continuum takes applications from all the interested parties, ranks those applications, scores them, and then submits a consolidated application on behalf of the entire community to say, of the $6 million you're telling us we can apply for, here's where we want it to go. Here's our priority listing. As part of that process, we also do an evaluation of the existing projects. How are they doing in terms of meeting goals, moving people to permanent housing, increasing the income level for individuals who are being served. So it's a huge task. We have one staff person who is dedicated full-time. She's our continuum planner. But in addition, we have a consultant who works with us on the really nitty-gritty details of pulling that application together. And so that's what this contract is for, that particular consultant.
Okay.
She's been working with us for a number of years, but she really brings the expertise on what exactly is HUD looking for in this year's application. How can we position ourselves to score as high as we can so we get the greatest amount of funding.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. On to the DuPage Care Center. I need a motion to approve item HSP 8-23, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Leading Age Illinois for annual membership dues for the DuPage Care Center for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 for a contract total not to exceed $31,877.40.
So move.
Second.
Motion a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve item HSP 9-23, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Medline Industries, Inc. to furnish and deliver towels and washcloths for the DuPage Care Center residents for the period of December 14th, 2022 through December 13th, 2023 for a contract total not to exceed $35,000.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Need a motion and a second to approve item, change order item HHSP-0437A-21, an amendment to resolution HHSP-0437-21 issued to Fox River Foods, Inc., doing business as Performance Food Service to provide secondary food supplier for the period of November 24th, 2021 through December 29th, 2022 for the DuPage Care Center to extend a contract through February 28, 2023, and to increase encumbrance in the amount of $8,000, a 16% increase.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I actually have a question.
Sure.
What is a secondary food provider?
I had the same question.
This is the
Hi, I'm
executive
Janelle
director.
Chadwick. I'm the
Yes.
administrator of the Care Center. Thank you for asking. We've had some challenges with a primary food provider at times. At one point, they went on strike. So obviously, we need to feed our residents. And so over the last probably 2 years, we put in place a secondary food provider. So we always have a backup.
Do they have like special dietary do they accommodate everyone?
They do, yes. We have actually two, a registered dietitian and 2 techs. There's very specific dietary requirements and swallowing precautions for our population. You bet.
So you only use them as, was secondary?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I need a motion and a second to approve item 2023-2, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Illinois Aging Services Network for negotiation of managed care contracts with various payers in Illinois for the DuPage Care Center for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 for a contract total not to exceed $19,477.29.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote for this.
Member LaPlante?
Aye.
Member Childress?
Aye.
Member Evans?
Aye.
Acting Chair Swarz.
Aye. Thank you very much. On to budget transfers, I need a motion on item 1 to transfer funds to cover office supplies due to increases in staff and pricing and for additional issuance of cell phones with increased staff resulting in outstanding invoices to AT&T Mobile and ODP for Community Services General Fund, the amount of $6,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve another budget transfer for home management information systems. Well, Sky software licenses were originally budgeted to the grant services and later determined to appropriately be invoiced out of the software licenses budget line reflected on the purchase order 6090 in the amount of $19,466.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. On to travel, I need a motion and a second to approve an authorization for overnight travel, weatherization assessor, final inspector to attend mandatory soft skills training in Springfield, Illinois from December 19th, 2022 through December 20th, 2022. Expenses to include lodging, miscellaneous expenses, and per diems for approximate total of $440.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. A motion and a second is needed for Community Services Manager to attend the National Community Action Partnership 2023 Management and Leadership Training Conference, February 7th, 2022 through February 10th, 2022 in Orleans Parish, Louisiana. Expenses to include registration, transportation, lodging, miscellaneous expenses, and per diems in the approximate total amount of $2,078.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Oh, sorry,
Where exactly
member.
is that training?
Say it again.
Where exactly is that training?
I'm not sure where Orleans Parish is. Is that New Orleans?
Yeah.
New Orleans.
No, I said, what is that?
Oh, what is it? So this would be Community Action Partnership. So The county, as I mentioned in our overview for the new board members, we have a significant number of designations, one of which is we are the Community Action Agency for DuPage County. That means we receive community services block grant funding, and we're the anti-poverty agency designated for the county. As part of that, as part of many of the grants that we have, there's a series of trainings that people go to, either for certifications or to make sure that they are appropriately trained in all of the rules and regulations associated with those programs that we run. So that's what this program would be for. It's management and leadership training. So this is one of the managers who really oversees the CSBG grant, as well as all of the programs that we fund. There's a lot of requirements in terms of reporting, the way things are reported, the expectations of what kind of impact we're making in our community. So that's what this would be affiliated with. Gina, is there anything else that I should mention on that?
Yeah, and it's a really good chance for her to network and have a better understanding of
Right.
programs and processes that we can deal with.
Right.
And she's a brand new manager,
Right.
so this is really gonna give her good experience.
One of the things that you'll find about me as a department head is I'm a big proponent of staff having the opportunity to attend trainings in person, not just webinars, to really understand what other organizations, either throughout the state or throughout the country, are doing when they run programs like ours. Again, I mentioned during the orientation that we do things here within our department, within DuPage County, that in other counties is scattered across multiple entities. So we're a unique entity, and I think it's really important for staff to have the opportunity to meet people who manage similar programs. And so anytime someone has an opportunity to do something that really not only gives them the education, but it gives them that networking, I'm a proponent of it. It also helps that the grant actually pays for those conferences. So we almost never use county general funds for travel. Pretty much every travel that we're doing is affiliated with a training that's specific to a grant, and it's a eligible expense under that grant program. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thanks, Mayor.
Sure.
I just want to add also, if you don't mind.
Please.
But how important this is and how rare it is for county employees to be able to go to training, and the continued training after someone gets hired is something that I think is very important. So it's a nice break for, it's a nice break for the employee. It's huge networking, and we do know how we stack up against other agencies, and it's something that we don't get when we're just kind of sitting in our offices here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I need a motion to amend this item to have the correct date of 2023 and not 2022.
So moved. My apologies. Oh.
So we have a motion. I need a second, please. Second, okay. So voting on this amendment, any questions or comments for changing the date to read 2023? And I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so the date's changed now. I need any other questions or comments on this amended motion?
So we just vote on the amendment. Now we need to vote on the main motion with the amendment.
So I need another second, okay, so now I need a motion and a second to approve this item as amended.
Yeah, so
Second.
Okay, made by member LaPlante, second by member Childress. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for all your help. I need a motion to approve consent item to decrease encumbrance in the amount of $35,000 for Tab Textile Company, Inc. The vendor could not supply partial products.
Can you give me a little background on that?
It's actually the care center. Oh, sorry.
Can I get a motion first or
So moved.
second? Okay, and then go ahead.
So you approve the Medline contract, and that's the new vendor. This is decreasing and closing the old.
Okay. So we're not paying them.
It's just, right, correct.
Okay,
Cleaning up
thank
the
you.
books.
Good question, member Childress. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to receive and place on file an informational grant proposal notification GPN 001-23 income eligible retrofits program fiscal year 23 Resource Innovations Northern Illinois Utilities in the amount of $786,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, questions or comments?
Can I just say what a
Sure.
GPN is?
Sure.
So,
Go ahead.
several years ago, the board adopted this process called a grant proposal notification. Basically, what it is, it's an opportunity for the board to know what the county is getting itself into when we have a grant. Specifically, do we have to hire new staff? Do any of these expenses come out of general fund? And is there any continuing obligation on the county once the grant goes away? So for that purpose, this grant proposal notification process was developed. So you'll see in your packet, it'll ask, how much is the grant for? Is it recurring or is it new? What's the staffing level? Does what percentage of the staffing cost is paid for by the grant? So the grant proposal notification it's an informational item, but it's just to make sure that the board is aware of any grant that we're receiving, what our current or continuing obligations would be associated with that grant.
And you'll see that done in all committees, not just this committee. Did I get a motion in a second? I did. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Janelle Chadwick, any residency waivers? None, okay. And Janelle on DuPage Care Center update.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's unfortunate that I need to report that we did have to reopen our COVID unit. We've had 12 resident cases, which is not unexpected. We had many residents go out with their families over the holiday. And we've also had 6 staff. We had residents positive actually before staff. So we feel like that maybe where that interaction occurred. So the COVID unit is pretty full right now. We're noticing that their roommates, which we would call persons under investigation or PUIs, they are turning positive anywhere from 3 to 5 days, which is a little longer. I feel like we're the test site for COVID because we learn all these things. So we're also finding that this variant, whatever is going on, spreads very, very easily. So the staff are wearing shields and N95s. As you previous board members and new board members, we're very conservative in our approach to COVID. Meaning we're going to be a little more stringent and not release different COVID interventions. So before I move on, any questions on that topic? Yes.
Just real quick, Janelle. I know you talked about, I think at the last meeting about the immunization.
Yes.
Vaccine.
Yes.
They're pretty much all of them have had the vaccine.
Not all, but we're at about 94%. There's some that can't or some that refuse.
Okay.
Yep.
And you find the ones that have had the vaccines are pretty much just the symptoms are a little bit less, or are you not?
Generally, yes, they fare much better. However, I will say the ones that are positive are having symptoms, but we don't have anyone real significant or real ill related to COVID. The next item is we had our Illinois Department of Public Health annual survey. That's why I was not at the event to introduce all the different departments of the county. It's usually a 5-day survey, 4 to 5 day survey. There's 6 individuals that come. It's never pleasant. We've been waiting for them since May. They're very, very late. So they came in and they were there for only 2.5 days. We did receive 3 tags. Which is very, very low. We had a very successful survey. So we're pretty happy about that. So we'll be doing a celebration.
I just, being a longtime firefighter paramedic, we had the Illinois Department of Public Health come out annually, inspect our ambulances for, all the, and it is quite a chore just to get our ambulances. So a building the size of, and then with the quantity of people that you have, 3 tags, man, that's great.
Yeah.
That's just great.
They interviewed and interacted with 58 residents in less than 24 hours.
Wow.
And that's a very large sample.
Thank
So,
you for what you do.
thank you. The last, well, of course, I always want to comment on the remodel. That's always a work in progress. We're looking at various different products to make sure we're really looking at durable products. Chairs, if people are going to be able to put their hands on fabric, we know that's not going to stay clean, and so we're looking at very durable materials, and so that's the phase that we're in right now. But I'll keep this committee updated as we move along that very exciting process. The last thing I want to mention is that I'm going to be coming to the committees with a resolution regarding Medicaid. Medicaid rate reform is very complex, and so I'll be putting out an email to everyone to go through kind of the basics of how we're funded, and specifically Medicaid. Medicare is a short stay, federally funded. Medicaid is our primary funding source. We run around 79% Medicaid. With the rate reform, many things changed, and this committee has been part of approving the CNA tenure program portion, which actually pays CNAs for their years of experience. And HFS actually reimburses the care center for that, a portion of that up to our percentage of Medicaid occupancy. So they're finally really recognizing facilities that care for the Medicaid, the most underserved. They're reimbursing us based on our quality rating, which is a 5-star. There's all these different components, and I'll be sending something out so that you have a foundation of understanding before I come to you with a resolution trying to explain something very complex. So, any other questions? Yes.
What, can I get a copy of it?
What the
Email?
absolutely, I'm going to send it to
All the board members?
Yep. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. On the community services update, Mary Keating.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. So I mentioned at the orientation session about the, we launched 211. It's now been 3 weeks. Unfortunately, I gave a number that was inaccurate. We discovered that we had a software issue. So it was counting the calls wrong or tallying them up wrong. But we've had 323 calls as of yesterday, as of Sunday. So if I were reporting 323 for the first time, I'd be really excited about that. Having only been, but we thought it was 700. So, but we're very excited. It means 323 DuPage County residents reached out to us just through 211. That's above and beyond the calls we've always taken on the 407-6500 number.
Are you still getting phone calls on the other 10-digit number?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Anybody who's interacted with us in the past is probably calling 6500. So that 323, I would guess all of them are brand new callers to us, folks who are reaching out for the first time. So that's really exciting. Not surprisingly, about just over 40% of those calls were related to housing. People looking for rent assistance, people looking for affordable housing. So not surprising at all that that's, far and above the largest reason that people call looking for us. I was excited to hear Chair Conroy in her remarks last night talk about affordable housing as a priority. Boy, we can certainly demonstrate the need based on the calls that we're getting. Yes, Joe?
I have some earned media on 211 whenever you finish.
Okay, thanks. Just the other thing I wanted, at first I want to welcome you to HHS if you're here permanently or on an interim basis. I think we do, Janelle and I kind of tag team on this committee. I think we both do great work. We're both really proud of what we do. And regardless of whether or not you stay on HHS, I know we'd both be more than happy to sit down with you and in her case, tour the facility. In my case, I give you an overview of all of the different programs that we run. So that goes for standing, returning board members as well. We're always happy to sit down and thank you for all the questions this morning. Like I said, even if you're not staying on HHS, I think it's great to have members engaged in what we do. So thank you.
Questions or comments? Thank you very much.
Joan had something on 211.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. You all know that we had, hopefully all of you know that we had a news conference rolling out 211. And we did an extensive pitch campaign to local media to get, and I'll only talk about earned media. The difference between earned and paid is advertisements that you place, say, in a newspaper or on a radio, and earned is what we generate by calling media and asking them to report on it. We had coverage from the Chicago Tribune, Politico, CBS News, MSN, Daily Herald, Yahoo News, Patch, Telemundo, and Shaw Media estimated to reach 8.5 million people.
Wow.
It was also featured in 60 blog posts, mostly reposting the Chicago Tribune story, and at least 91 social media posts, which I can tell you right now is over 100.
Nice.
So as you may have seen, and I'm just supposing every one of you has gone through your Facebook page in the recent, say, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, you may see some of our digital media ads come up, which were part of our paid media, which is something else completely, but we did get some grant money to do some paid media. And we are reaching people on streaming, electronic. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I go on Facebook, a 211 ad comes up for DuPage. We are geocaching DuPage only. So I'm very happy with this campaign. And yet, I encourage all of you, when you see a 211 ad, share it, please. Because that just helps us, and it really does help get the word out. The video that we chose, I think, is very short, but it's a very graphic campaign. And when we get multilingual audiences, pictures tell the story much better. So thank you all for your cooperation in coming to the news conference and helping us share the word. It was really important to this group that we get the word about 211 out, and I think we have done so. But we're going to keep on.
Thank you.
It runs all the way through January, by the way. So we're going to hit people during the holidays as well.
You guys have any questions on 211? Are you familiar with it?
I actually have a resident that she had some problem with, like her water bill was like 10 times the amount. And so I told her to try calling 211. I didn't follow up with her yet, but I think that would be, because she had no idea who to call.
You don't know who to call 211. Definitely. But yeah, and if she's a municipal resident, you know, if it's unincorporated or incorporated water, they'll help sort through that with them.
I actually had a follow-up question for Mary. So when you get these calls with regard to rental assistance or asking for help with affordable housing, what have you been telling them, or where do you refer them to?
Gina, do you want to take this? So let me introduce Gina Strafford-Ahmed is our administrator of intake and referral. So it's her division that handles 211 and all of the intake calls.
So individuals are screened and they're asked essentially, where do they live? And then either they're referred to the agency that covers the area, and then also they're asked about their income. And then essentially given referrals for those type of assistance for 211. If they are eligible for county services, they're warmly transferred to one of my staff who would then do an intake. That intake would then be forwarded to a homeless prevention provider if they needed immediate homeless prevention. If they're just essentially looking for affordable housing, we would refer them to the Illinois Housing Search. We would also refer them to CHAD, some other resources. But for rental assistance, it would be a housing screening tool, which is my staff. But it could also be Catholic Charities or some other organization. But yeah, they're definitely screened. And you know, we would definitely welcome you to come down and see how we do that. If you're interested.
Okay, thank you.
There are a number of providers that provide rent assistance. Our housing supports unit provides rent assistance from, I don't know, at any point, maybe three to 8 different grants. Each one has very specific criteria over how you're eligible. So it's an arduous screening process. There's clearly not enough assistance. So we'll refer to as many organizations as we can based on what the if it's a veteran, we'll send them to the VAC. So it really depends on their circumstances. But sometimes, unfortunately, they're just not eligible for anything. Either they're over income, or just there aren't funds available, or their circumstances don't meet the funds that are available. So it's a frustrating circumstance, because obviously all of our folks want to help residents when they call, but we're limited in the things that we can do. I will say that if folks who are actually in eviction court, there is funding available for eviction prevention. So that's kind of the one still shining opportunity and we have case managers who actually sit in eviction court to get those folks connected to rent assistance.
Great information. Thank you. Any other questions for Mary? Do we have any old business? Seeing none. Anybody have any new business? Seeing none. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Right.
All opposed? Thank you very much.